So happy Sunday. This is Forrest out in St. Louis. Wanted to jump on here really quick, talk about some branding and business building. Been working on a brand here for a little while, so just went into soft pre-launch 1.0, I guess if you want to call it that, and had some folks last night. So you've got my gear up. My awesome wife made me this hat. We're going to talk about her business here for just a minute. Also want to talk about XTRM, and a lot of you can see the brand here in terms of the logo, and we'll talk about exactly what that means. And it is not pronounced extreme, it's actually pronounced XTRM, and we'll get into that because each letter is its own meaning and its own subset of meanings. We're going to talk about what it means and where it came from and the inspiration for that, and we'll talk about 4 tips that I want to share with you just about launching a brand. And I'm novice to this. I'm not an expert by any way. I'm watching some other people launch some brands and getting some coaching and some guideline and just taking it one step at a time. And the whole goal of this, of course, the bottom line with our mission is to create no more empty refrigerators, and being able to create multiple platforms for dialogue, creative thinking, inspiration, motivation, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to it, growing into a brand and giving people an opportunity, of course, to get their head above water, be able to open that refrigerator and realize it's not empty, that there's other solutions that are available for them as well to move on and maybe launch their own business, and realize that it's not something that we have to do in the long term of having a business that's crazy. You can start it a little bit at a time. I'm actually going to pull my, you know what, I'll set it right up here is what I'm going to do. And I can see this, pull my iPhone up, get it over here. Sunday night. The weekend was pretty decent. Been prospecting and doing follow-up all day today, which was absolutely cool. Enjoyed it, relaxed. Watching my business, watching my work. Let's see, let's turn the volume down here. All right. Thanks for swinging by. Got that up there. I can see the chats. Who's chatting in here? Let's go back to comments. There we go. So one of the cool things when I talk about the brand, one of the deals that I came up with, of course, my color scheme here is it's a yellow. It sort of looks like a red and a black as color schemes from the brand. So I want to talk about this. People ask me, what does XTRM stand for? What does it mean? I'm going to go into a little bit brief about that. And over the next couple of months, as we launch different, I guess if you want to call them divisions, departments, ideas, themes, it's going to be, are you online? Are you an online entrepreneurship teacher? Well, if that's what you want to call me, I'll go with it. I'm more of a if you want to call it, a guy that shows up and shares information. And for those of you that don't know me, I'm actually a social media marketing strategist, residual income lover. I love helping small businesses. I love helping people start their businesses, launch their businesses, educate them. I'm a coach, a business coach, if you want to call that. I'm a business coach, and I work with small business owners, entrepreneurs, individuals, moms, pops, dads, whoever, to help them launch and come up with a plan to have no more empty refrigerators. We're going to talk about that down the road as we go through this launch for XTRM brand. It's going to be absolutely exciting. So hopefully the value that I share with you over the next several months is going to create just tons of value for you. If I say something, in terms of something that's going to inspire you, something that you're going to need, something that's going to launch you, then absolutely reach out to me, and I'll definitely get back with you. What can I do for a side business, side income? I'll shoot me a private message. I'll definitely follow up with you. I meditate. Oh, you're on Periscope. That's why I was looking so weird. I'm like, what is this? I'm broadcasting on a Periscope. So Scopers, thanks for swinging by. I really appreciate it. The software I use pushes out, and I was just looking sort of weird. And I was like, what is this? You're on Periscope. My bad for Periscopers. I meditate, which is a cool name. Like, that's sort of funny. I meditate anyway. When I talk to them, it's anyway. Very cool. Thanks for swinging by, swinging out. I'll definitely follow up with you. give you some ideas in terms of creating a side hustle, a side gig, something to generate some income from the side. We can definitely talk about that after the live. I'll shoot you some information, and we can go from there and see if it's a fit for you. Great. If not, maybe we'll get some kind of other inspiration before we get you going. So let's talk about the XTRM, and I want to share this with you, and I'm going to share some quick tips with you. I want to talk about what the X means, and then we can talk about the other stuff here. I'm going to go through these really, really quick just to give you an idea of what XTRM, the brand is, and XTRM, impact marketing, it means. So the X is taking it to the X. And this was something that it was inspired. It was a God thing. Hey, Jamie, thanks for swinging by. So it was a God thing. Very, very cool. Hey, Kathleen, thanks for swinging by. So it was a God thing. X represents, for those of you who don't know, it's a Greek letter, and I believe I'm pronouncing this correct, CHI, the initial letter in the word Christoph, what does mean Jesus or Christ. X has been acceptable representation of the word Christ for hundreds of years. So X, when I say taking it to the X, it means we're taking it to Christ. We're putting Christ before everything that we do in our business, in our platform, in everything I do. So every area in the X is based on Christ. It's a Christ-based model. It's about the sacrifice, the giving, the love, the unconditional love, looking at people not necessarily as they are, but looking at them how they can be in terms of moving that into a business side, not buying into the mess that you're in, that because you come from a certain background, because you come from something that has an empty, I'm getting emotional, because you come from something that has an empty refrigerator is an excuse to stay stuck there. So the whole point of the brand is to inspire people, motivate them, give them the tools to move out of their current situation, whether it's a bad relationship, whether it's growing up in a crappy neighborhood, not having the food that you need to eat. Realize that you have to stay stuck there. That there's a world outside of where you're at. That just you're where you want to be doesn't necessarily have to be where you are right now. And when we think about that, when we move forward, so putting the Christ in it, being able to look at that, being able to love people unconditionally. Sometimes you've got to love people from a distance, right? Just because you love somebody doesn't necessarily mean you have to be treated poorly by them. So we're going to talk about a lot. I'm talking a little bit about mindset and spirituality, but that's also part of the brand, and we'll get into that. So the T's. The T has a couple of different meanings in it. We'll talk about the T's. We're going to talk about training, technology, and building teams, which is very, very cool. The R stands for retention, referrals, and residual. Retention, we're talking about sales, follow-up, and things like that. Referrals, of course, as when you build a brand, you're going to have advocates and people that love your brand. Then anytime they see something that represents that, they're going to think about you and hopefully get you some referrals. And of course, residual, creating a residual income, and we've actually taken it to the next level and aligned with a system that creates a perpetual residual income, which is absolutely cool. And if you don't know what that is, we'll talk about that. And then the M stands for mindset, motivation, and marketing. And we're going to put some training stuff together for that. So, and all of those, of course, everything is preceded by the X, which is Christ. And the whole goal of that is to have a foundation that we're going to be able to inspire, motivate, train, give you the teachings. Like, for example, on Tuesdays, we'll be doing Tech Tuesdays, and we'll be talking about some of the Tech Tuesdays might even be a little bit of mindset stuff. Or we'll be talking about different types of technology. Some of it's simple stuff. Some of it may be like stupid, crazy. And of course, we're here to give you solutions. I'm here to give you solutions that are going to help you take it one step at a time, take it to the next level. You can ask my wife. She's working on her new brand right now. And it's like, babe, you need to. And I'm just honored because I understand the concept of if she does it right, and you're not going to do it right every step of the way, but if you have a coach or you have somebody behind you that can say, hey, do this, do that, because I've done, but she doesn't have to sit down and learn everything herself. I can say, based on what I know, I would suggest you do this. Now, she has an option of taking my knowledge and running with it to make her life easier and make her brand launch. If you haven't seen her brand, it's fire right now. It's taken off. It's very, very cool. It's very simplistic, but it's fire, and it's just very, very cool. And I'm really excited to see where she's going to take her brand, and I'm going to let her talk about that. Maybe I'll have her on maybe I'll have her on here Thursday when we do our Unscripted Thursdays, and have her come on and talk about her brand and her business, and just let her pitch it to you guys. I think it's going to be. I'm very excited to see where that's going to grow with her, because she's been working on it for a while. and it is very, very cool. We're actually, her office is down the hall, and we're actually working on getting it all set up so she has all the tools and equipment and everything she needs to be very, very effective in what she does. And of course, we're going to get her brand online very, very effective and get it out there so people understand what she's all about, make it really easy for her to make a profit and make it really easy for her to serve her customers. So very, very important to do that. So we talked about that. So let's talk about the 4 things here. I got my other screen up here, how to launch a new brand, which is very, very cool, and some things. So I'm going to scroll through some of these tips with you guys. I've got an absolutely awesome follow-up for those of you guys that want. You can shoot me a private message, 7 ways to build hype months before your business launch, sort of what I'm doing now, giving you guys an inside peek to get you to hang around. And I have absolutely no problem with asking. If you have something that you're not sure about, feel free to reach out, shoot me a private message, drop it in the chat or whatever. Definitely shoot me that, and I'll do whatever. If I don't know it myself, I'll find a resource to help you, because again, my goal is to impact as many lives as I possibly can. My goal is to, if you're going to launch an XYZ business, is to maybe point you in the resources, give you the tools, give you some encouragement. My inbox is constantly blowing up. Hey, what about this? Can we talk on the phone call? Can we do this? And of course, being a coach, sometimes I can allocate a few minutes here and there, but the whole goal of being a coach, of course, is to bring somebody in as a coaching client and move them through a process and get them to where they want to go. On the outside, you get all the free stuff here on Facebook, which is absolutely awesome. Working on launching a podcast. And I'm not saying this to brag. It's just when you get inspired to help people, when you get convicted and make a commitment to do something, the blessings just pour in. I literally sat here yesterday and I was bawling because I could see the impact that I could feel coming on because of the continuous activity and the constant feedback that I'm getting from people, and the constant questions and the constant, hey, appreciate you, thank you for your information, it's really helping me grow my business. That's a big freaking deal, right? That's a big freaking deal when you can impact other people's lives and help them move forward. So appreciate you guys for swinging by. Again, I've got the special for you. If you want it, shoot me a private message. And again, it's just how to build 7 ways to build hype months before your business launches. And this is just some steps on where to go and what to think and not to overthink it. So first of all, I'm going to say this, and this is just my unprofessional opinion. You do not need an LLC to launch a business. You don't need business cards to launch a business. You need an idea and some enthusiasm and have a mission and a dream. And if you just put your head down and go after it, God's going to sort it out for you. He's going to take the mess out of it. He's going to sharpen your saw a little bit. He's going to put some obstacles in your way to grow you and strengthen you and make you push through to see how bad do you really want it, right? There's going to be some stuff that happens. There's going to be some growing pains that go. You're going to get people in your life that are haters, and you got to realize that sometimes you just got to block them. Sometimes you just got to move them to the side and get them out of your way. So there's a lot of stuff that's going to happen. If you sit down and procrastinate, it's never going to launch, right? You've got to just take it, put your brand together, put it in your head, and let it grow. And XTRM has taken a while to grow. It was sort of sitting on the shelf. It's funny, I had my brand colors picked out years ago. I knew that was the colors I wanted. And it's funny how just everything sort of came together, and I was thinking about this, and I said, you know what, I want to do this. And as time went by, it's launched into this really cool thing, and I've got it written down on paper, and I'm starting to put it together over here, and I've got just all kinds of stuff in behind the scenes. It's going to be very, very cool for you guys to see. I'll have a blog up and running, a blog website up and running here in the next probably 60 days or so. That's going to be just chock full of information for you to plug into to help you, again, grow your business, be able to have a side hustle if that's what you want to, or have a full-time hustle depending on where you want to go, and be able to have some resources that you can plug into depending on which direction you want to go. So again, really appreciate you guys swinging by. So let's talk about the 4 tips to sort of getting your brand off the ground. A new brand basically has got to make a splash in the market itself. It's going to be successful. You've got to stand out in the crowd that's oversaturated with brands already. So what is your brand? And when you talk about a brand, you got to understand who your target clientele is. I can tell you, if you know me, if you hang around me, I've got a very narrow focused. I've even narrowed it down here recently to a very focused audience of people that I'm targeting to jump in their face and get in their face and help them generate an income as part of my brand. So I've narrowed it down to, so it's so laser focused that it's just like a dog in the hunt. If I see them, I'm like, bam, bam. And when I say that, I'm reaching out to them, I'm knocking on their door, I'm asking them, I'm helping them move along, and I'm encouraging them to take the next step. So when you figure out who that target client is, and when you can take all the fluff out and you can narrow it down to whoever that client, that target person is, and you're not pitching your dollar store idea. Some people have, and some newbies or some new marketers or new business people, they're in the, and sometimes you just don't know who they are. Sometimes you just got to knock on doors until you figure out, you get enough no's, you get enough yeses, and then out of those yeses, you can say, hey, okay, out of these yeses, what do all these people have in common, right? They have a certain income, they have a certain demographic, they have a certain job, they have a certain lifestyle, and now you can start to look at the people that have said yes. Okay, you put them in the yes bucket, and then you can break that down and say, okay, that's my target avatar, that's my target client. They've identified themselves by saying yes. And they all may have a little bit of differences, but you can find a base core, a baseline of what they all have in common, what they all have similar. And then, of course, that's going to be able to give you an opportunity to write your messaging so that you can target people and can narrow it down focus. So you get rid of all the chaff around the edges, and you're actually talking to a client audience that you want to attract, that you can help and bring into your culture. Not everybody's going to fit into your brand. Not everybody's going to fit into your culture, and that's absolutely okay. You want people that you want to work with that believe in your ideas. I get so many haters on my Facebook page about stuff, and it's just they're coming with hate because they don't have the information that they need. And when you're a wordsmith kung fu, like a wordsmith, when you have wordsmith kung fu skills like I do, you can talk to them, get them, tell them, get them, back them off the ledge, calm them down, and they continue to hate you, just block and move on. But sometimes people come guns a-blazing. One is because they're afraid, they don't have enough information. So if you understand where your brand is going, sometimes you can reach out to people, you can talk them off the ledge so they don't jump off in the crazy world and end up burning up in flames. You can actually help them. You can't save all the people all the time, but it's an opportunity when you understand where your brand is going. That one is, you don't have to save everybody. Your whole goal is you should be able to, I call it, recruit up, prospect up, reach out to people that have a discretionary income. I know with me growing up in the projects on welfare and food stamp, that freaking sucks. It sucks at the end of the month to open up your refrigerator and there's nothing in there except the light. And I'm not saying nothing in there that I want to eat. I mean, it's freaking empty, bare, nothing. There's nothing in there except the light and an ice cube tray up in their freezer, and that's it. And sometimes there's 4, 5, 6, 7 days towards the end of the month that we're trying to struggle to figure out what the heck to eat. And sometimes it was government peanut butter. I still love peanut butter in spite of that. It's probably one of my favorite foods. But in terms of being able to reach out to people that have that kind of concept, that understands that we need to have a solution for those single moms that's like they're struggling. I need to have a solution. And maybe it's not even that. Maybe you've got a family that's working 2 and 3 extra jobs and they don't ever get to spend time together. Maybe that's their empty refrigerator, right? So whatever it is being able to equip people with tools to have them move to the next level. So I know I'm all over the place. I'm really excited about this. I want to inspire people. That's always my goal. So tip number 1, give yourself enough time. Give yourself enough time. You're going to get all kinds of crap in the beginning. You're just going to have all kinds of stuff happen in the beginning. Like, for example, it took forever for my wife to make me this hat. Just kidding, babe. Which is it's not something that I was going to hold me up from launching my brand. I've been building my brand without the shirt, without the logo, without the hat, without the website address, without any of that stuff for a while. I've been working on that for a while, working up to it, aligning myself with people, showing up on a regular basis, knocking on people's doors to be able to give myself an opportunity to move into the brand that I think is going to make a huge, huge impact on people. So your brand launch is an important event. People should spend 6 to 7 months to a year planning their weddings. So treat your brand the same way. Don't launch your entire company in just a couple of weeks. Give yourself more time. And it's on a slow rollout. I love what they call the beta idea, the beta rollout. So today's sort of my beta rollout. I'm going to roll into this a little bit at a time, and I'll add some stuff. I may cut some stuff loose, and depending on how the schedule goes, and how my coaching client schedule fits into all of that stuff, and move it around. And of course, With all of that, I've got a full-time job that I run that I work at about 55 hours a week. So being able to put all that together and play and transition from a full-time gig into a full-time gig and be able to help people and inspire people. So if that makes sense, I absolutely appreciate you guys. So give yourself enough time to launch your brand. Don't freak out because it doesn't come together in 2 or 3 days. It's going to take years and years and years. You think about somebody, there's story after story after story. I bet you Grant Cardone didn't have 10X in 2 days. It took him years to get to the point where he's, I think $150 million company or something like that. Understand your audience. I talked about this a little bit earlier. Your goal is to develop a strategy for your launch that will give your company in front of many eyes as possible, but also you want to make sure those eyes belong to your target audience. And we talked about that here a little bit earlier, so I won't belabor that. However, you need to understand who your target audience is. And sometimes it really is, if you're brand new, you may not have a clue who they are. You got to understand that you got to knock on enough doors. You got to build that client base, and of course, when you get those yeses, take a look at what the commonality is in those yeses, and you've almost narrowed down because they've raised their hand, and that's your target audience. And you can start looking at those, and you can go after more people that are similar to those types of people that are already in your current customer base. And like I said before, if you'd like 7 ways to build a hype months before your business launch, shoot me a private message, and I'll get those to you. Absolutely cool. So. Brand everything, and this is very, very important. So as you transition along, and I've got a bunch of social media stuff that I'm going to be cutting off and moving everything to the XTRM brand, so that no matter where somebody goes, when they look on Instagram, it's going to be XTRM. When they look on Facebook, it's going to be XTRM. When they look on LinkedIn, it's going to be XTRM. When they look anywhere that they're going to go, they're going to see my XTRM brand, and it's narrowing it down. So I've got a lot of just technical house cleaning administrative stuff to do to move into that. However, I've been sitting out there watching these platforms to see which one's getting the best traction. And of course, the ones that are getting the best traction, I can go in and use that to my advantage and put my brand on that and keep moving forward. Brand everything. After deciding on the name of your business, creating a logo, and designing your website, you need to continue branding everything in that aspect. So I'm branding everything. I got my hat, I got my t-shirts, I've got my business cards, I use digital business cards that are up and running. If you can see the actual banner that's floating along here, that's my brand color. I'll put XTRM there. These are my brand colors that you're going to see everywhere I go, so that when somebody sees those colors, they're going to think of XTRM, and it's going to come back to subconsciously think about them everywhere I go. I don't think I'm going to buy a yellow Hummer. Rick, I threw that at you. Maybe a yellow G-Wagon, on the other hand, might be fun. And of course, build anticipation. If you make your brand launch exciting, can't miss an event for an audience, people will be counting down till the days they can take a peek. Well, I'm sort of giving you a sneak peek, and I'm doing what I call like a beta rollout. I watch people do this, and I think this is in my opinion, the way that feels good for me to do it is work through the brand and work to the build, because the last thing I want to do is go out and build a big party and nobody shows up. So I want to be able to launch a brand a little bit at a time, move in some stuff, get some training. I can't wait to do some really cool, exciting interviews up over here in the next couple of months, and just get some big shot callers that can come in and educate you guys and educate you and throw out some just crazy knowledge about business, prospecting, life, mindset training, all that kind of stuff. So I'm really excited to do those webinars, which are going to be really, really cool. So I've got a huge list of stuff to roll out for you guys. Again, if you like the ideas on how to pre-launch your business, shoot me a private message. I'll get those out to you. And I meditate. I see you over there on Periscope. I'll reach out to you as well and get you some information about launching your business, or having some ideas on how to create a side hustle. So this is Forrest out in St. Louis. I love you. Jesus loves you. There's absolutely nothing you can do about that. No more empty refrigerators. Go out and make an extreme impact. Peace out. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.